I'm done, man. I can't I can't do this anymore. I can't. I just can't. I give up. I give up. If that sounds like you, let's talk. All right? Let's talk about that. My name's Pastor Devin, and you're watching. You good, bro? All right, so still in the same vein as last week, we are talking about trauma. And if you're like all of the men, women out there that experience the same thing that I just expressed in this opening, you're not alone, okay? But if the situation is extremely dire, I urgently, still in the vein of Suicide Prevention Month this month, during September 2024, um, still advise you to seek help immediately. Uh, Chat, text 988, or go to 988 lifeline.org, and they'll be able to. I always forget the URL, so here's for notes. Um, but 988lifeline.org for immediate help. They will. You have several resources out here. This is nothing to play with right here. Just like your life is beautiful, um, as the poster behind me so adequately puts it. Right. So never ever forget that your life is beautiful. Your life is meaningful, not meaningless, meaningful, and you are important for this world. Just remember that you are important to this world. Again, in the U.S., 988 chat, text, or call, and then you'll have a resource to help you out, along with 988lifeline.org. All right, that goes without saying. Another announcement, starting this Wednesday, 9/11, uh, we are going to start a new series called Wise Guy Wednesdays. That's where you see this gentlemanly scholared, salt and pepper beard man before you uh, try to give his best wisdom, but only because God's allowed me to see that wisdom in my daily experiences for everything. It's going to be wide ranging. It's going to be short, though. It's going to be short, probably more than likely 10 to 15 minutes or so. But come back every Wednesday. It's going to be posted here on the YouTube channel, You Good Bro, along with on the You Good Bro Facebook page and on my personal Facebook page as well, Devin M. Davis. Um, Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to all those resources. We are building something big. All right. Now, today's topic, giving up. What happens when you give up? The trauma, and that's spiritually, emotionally, physically, that all of that's trauma. But what happens when you give up and just forego the promises that God has fully intended you to have? That is not a myth. God has fully intended you to have his specific promises. And we can go to this word right here. Romans 5, 3, and 4. Again, New Living Translation. Romans 5, 3, and 4. We can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance, and endurance develops strength of character, and character strengthens our confident hope of salvation. Okay. The key word that I keep on seeing and hearing always is endurance. And so the thing is about endurance, it comes after trials, it comes after tribulations. It's never easy. It's always earned, it's always fought for. Like Jerry Rice during his illustrious NFL career would famously run a specific mile or so, but then there is this hill climb that he does. It's inclining all the time. It builds up his strength, builds up his character, it builds up his tenacity. He didn't got to go into the league. Understand this for my people that don't follow American football. But he didn't go into the league being the fastest man. He was a wide receiver for the 49ers. But when he was drafted and scouted, how many of you know that there's some folks out there that's drafting and scouting you? That's another day though, right? But when he was drafted and scouted, he wasn't fast, wasn't deemed fast. But it just took one particular coach and a certain amount of scouts from one team to convince themselves that this guy has it. This guy has it. And that's all Paul is talking about in this particular verse. Having it. Now, look, it can be defined in so many ways, you know. Like for me, I've always been known to be the techie. I've always been known to be the 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 guy that figures stuff out, you know. And I take that. I definitely take that. But then I like accepted the fact that I'm supposed to be this introvert, never to share my experiences, never to share who I'm meant to be, who I'm supposed to be. But all of my life, I kept on hearing other people tell me that, nah, man, you're meant for big things. Like I had this, a parent told me had yelled out in the middle school, of all places, to geek up a young kid's heart, a mind too. That in middle school, this is gonna be our next mayor and all that stuff, and then only to come find out that you didn't really want to live up to that potential. That's who I ended up being, accepting the fact that I was supposed to be this introvert, supposed to be this young laddie that doesn't have everything. That's supposed to have everything together, but doesn't have everything together. Can you imagine the amount of personal attacks that you have to go through in your head, like to get over the fact that you're not doing enough, you're not doing more. Like every other person could probably say, all right, that person's got it together. But in your own mind, you're like, nah, I don't think I have it together. I don't I'm so unsure about everything I'm doing. I'm so lethargic in my own life. I'm so tired of everything. That's because I didn't build up enough endurance to begin with. By endurance in this manner isn't about physical strength. It isn't about your physical exertion to be able to withstand hits. No. This is about my mind. This is about my heart. This is about my emotions. Be able to build up the stamina to constantly ward off my internal struggle to say, you're not good enough. See, when we give in to our trauma of giving up, all hope is gone. Like it, and you can see it physically on somebody when they've accepted the fact that all hope is gone. And it's never a pretty sight. Or even worse, it's a hidden sight. and we don't find out about it until it's too late. So there's this thing about, no, I just give up. But what happens when we actually look at the words and internalize those words? I give up. You ever thought about that? Like you're speaking defeat on yourself. I give up. I give up my right to be a winner. I give up my right to climb out of my personal hell. I give up my right to fight off these demons that constantly batter and wither me till the day I die. So now I'm going to resort to other means like drinking, pornography, drugs, or even death. Even pushing off those abusive behavior onto somebody we love, affecting our wives, affecting our children. If you're a lady, affecting your husband. It goes both ways now. Trauma when we give up. That is a lifestyle choice that says and tells your mind and tell your heart that I'm not worth living. That's what happens when we say I give up to a real situation. I give up. Now, there are times when you do have to give up something. Let's go there. Let's go there. When you do have to give up this fact that you can do everything by yourself, you have to give up this fact that, or this false pretense that I don't need God. Hmm? We have to give up that lie that has been imbued in our hearts and our minds. It tells us, nah, I'll never be nothing. I'll never be anything more than just a sperm donor. I'll never be anything more to this person than just a failed relationship. I'll never be more to my church family, to my as a known pariah that constantly brings drama everywhere he goes. Nah, we got to give that up. We got to give up that behavior. I personally had to give up this thought that I'll never be anything more than just a techie. I had to give up that I'll never be anything more than just a person that's addicted to pornography. I had to give that up. I had to give up this thought that no one will ever love me. Ever love me. That's what we have to give up. So when we say the words, I give up, there's a specific connotation that needs to be developed when we say those words. It's either we're saying those three words, those three simple words to build a better life, or to give up on life. So I give up being this lackadaisical man. I give up being a person that is not influencing his children. I give up not relying on God. I give up not thinking that he'll never love me. I give up this thought that Devin Davis or insert your name here will never be of any good. My life is beautiful. My life means something. My life is much, much more. I can't give up on those things. I have to allow my endurance to build up every single day. That's what God is talking about when Paul was writing in this letter. Build up endurance. Because what did he lead off with in verse 3? We can rejoice. Let's break it down for a second. Before everything else, he says, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials. I know it's hard. I know it's a hard concept to understand. Don't get me wrong. None of this is meant to be roses and petals of love and joy and all that stuff. But this is the real fact. We will rejoice when we give up being failures, when we actually live our lives to say, I'm going to be strong. So when somebody asks me, are you good, bro? I really mean that. Yeah, I'm good. And I want to define my version of good in that scenario. It's not my version. It's God's version of good. God's version of good pales in comparison to this world's version of tremendous. So what do I take away from all that? Like, what do I have to do to build up my endurance? Number one, consistent prayer life. We got to be able to talk to God and tell him our frustrations. We got to tell him what we're thinking, what we're feeling that day. Lord, I ain't feeling it. And then be able to stop and listen for a second and be like, okay, all right, what you got for me now? And now, all the times though, during those prayer talks, you might not always be talking, but God will be talking. You get that voice in your head that says, "Hey, let's take a second for you right now. I know your life is busy, laddie. I know your life is going through a whole bunch of ups and downs. You're fighting these demons off, but just know you have somebody more than a tag team partner. You got somebody that can handle that for you, and that's me. I'm your savior." That's what God's saying. I'm your savior. I'm the one that can handle that for you. So bring your worries to me. Bring them to me and leave them here at my altar, at this altar. All right? Number two, stop me if I've been a broken record in this matter before, but encourage yourself, yo. If no one else there is there to tell you that you're doing a great job, you need to tell yourself you're doing a great job. You need to tell yourself that I'm handling business as a leader of this household. Sometimes you got to bring your own fire. And sometimes though, when that torch is slowly dying out and getting dim, you need to be able to reach out to somebody else and say, hey, look, bro, I need you. I need your help. How's your mental? How's my mental? How could help me out? Help me. If you know what I'm talking about. Help me. Finish it. And then number 3, don't fail your character test. See, there's going to be those times where someone's going to come up to you in your face and test your character. Test who you are, who you're called to be, who God needs you to be. But that's the reason why we built up our character, our endurance with those first 2 points, with the prayer life and encouragement. That when it comes to that character test, your character tells you that I am more than a conqueror, that I am more than just this physical embodiment of a man. I am a loving person. I'm a loving father. I'm a loving husband. I'm a loving individual. I will always rely on God's love to fill me up with his fruits of the spirit. Fill me up with his patience, his mercy, his grace. Your character is strong in this. So when it comes down to it, don't give up. Don't give up. You just don't know how hard it was for me to make this particular video. Because life has been hard. But I gotta remember. God built me for this. God built us for this. God built us to glorify him. God built us to love him. God built us to rely on him. And so in those times of trials and tribulations and tests and you name whatever version of hell you're going through, just remember, don't give up. I give up these false accusations of my demise. That's what I give up. I don't give up on my life. You remember that. If that blessed your life, I hope to see you on Wednesday, 9/11, where we're going to be, again, being wise guys. But nonetheless, please definitely feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this video and all previous videos on this channel. Follow us on Instagram at YouGoodBro316. And as always, y'all, I love you. And I'll see you down the road. Peace out.